Kastav area surrounds Rijeka, the largest Croatian harbour city, and equally Attire, a famous resort on the Adriatic coast. The carnival period in this region starts on the 17th of January and lasts until Ash Wednesday. During this festive period, scheduled on a Sunday, about 10 bell ringers groups march through neighbouring villages in an impressive several kilometre-long circle, closing it by returning to their own village. From then on, the bell ringers appear in other villages that have their own bell ringers group, who usually in turn come to visit them on one of the upcoming Sundays. On this occasion, the bell ringers represent their own village and try to show themselves in the best light, which means that they have to ring well, mutually collide with utmost precision, show strength, sturdiness and endurance. Bell ringers groups usually consist of up to 20 to 30 members. However, the group of halube bell ringers consists of many more, while a variety of this custom in the villages of Jejanje and Mune includes 2 to 10 bell ringers. An aspect they all have in common is the sheepskin throw and bells around their waists, mostly 3, while the bell ringers from halube carry just 1 large bell each. In the groups that have 3 bells, the bell ringers either collide with each other, jump in the air, or try to harmonise their bell ringing in pairs. They each carry a stick known as a cohesion. Their headgear is especially peculiar. In most groups it consists of a hat with evergreen sprigs and paper flowers attached, and there are still recollections of feathers that were once placed in the past. The bell ringers from halube proudly wear aggressive masks on their heads. These remained unaffected by the banning of masks, while other bell ringers had to abandon them. This is due to the fact that in between the 2 world wars, their villages fell under the frontier part of Italy, where it was prohibited to wear masks. When they arrive in the centre of the village or house lot, ringers gradually huddle, forming a concentric circle like a snail shell, and then closely huddle in a heap, turn facing outwards and continue to ring fiercely. This is the highlight of their visit, after which they are approached by their hosts and offered refreshments, a typical point of the carnival period. After briefly socialising, they move on, since they have to cross 10 to 15 kilometres during a procession. Apart from bell ringers, groups include other unavoidable characters, such as Capo, the leader of the group, people carrying wine casks for quick refreshment, and a man guiding the group carrying a small decorated evergreen tree. Apart from the devil character, the bell ringers of halube also have a bear character that constantly enjoys a practical joke, accompanied by 2 guards who somehow cannot manage to control him. These, as well as some other permanent characters, are often protagonists in scenes that can be recognised as elements of folk theatre. Members of bell ringers group move with a special sway, which is slightly swaggering in many villages. Meanwhile, they bump each other's hips rhythmically. Throughout the procession, they maintain the same sway, occasionally bumping into each other. This requires certain skill and physical endurance. Therefore, it's considered that certain requirements are needed to become a bell ringer. In the last few days of Carnival, on Shrove Sunday, Monday and Shrove Tuesday, the day of Pust, groups go through their own villages, stopping in front of houses. The group of Rukovats bell ringers then employs an even more ancient artifact, a bag or a sock containing ashes, which they throw at people. They collect garbage from around the house, place it in front of the house and set fire to it, making one of its inhabitants try to blow it out. The little devil smears the faces of onlookers with his sooty hands, turning them all into interactive participants. In their processions, bell ringers walk to various neighbouring villages together with a group of people following them. Although on one hand visibly embodying the ancient magical meaning of the ritual, which should invite fertility at the end of the winter, this custom is still very much alive even today. By enabling interaction of a group of bell ringers and the people following them in their procession with the inhabitants of the villages they pass on their way, the ritual maintains and stresses the social significance and function of mutual relationships between villages in the Kastav region. This is extremely important for the cohesion of the villages in which the ritual takes place. Some groups of bell ringers still refuse to leave their own territory in order to present themselves in town centres, while at the same time, new groups of bell ringers are emerging throughout the region. This custom also involves special meals, handcrafts such as making headgear, masks and bells, as well as dances and other forms of social behaviour. In some instances, it's a case of various communities which include different ethnic or language groups, such as the one from Jajanje and a certain number of people that settled there recently. In this way, better integration of the population is achieved. The groups from Jajanje and Mune usually don't exceed more than 10 bell ringers. They run fast from house to house. Their hats have cascading paper ribbons in various colours, reaching almost to the floor and falling over their faces. Elements of folk theatre are especially present during the last day of the carnival period, when a carnival puppet named Pust is put on trial for all the misdeeds in the past year, and after the verdict is given, is set on fire. The most important fact is that this custom is alive due to the local community, where it still has a function and meaning. The communities include an increasing number of young people who desire to become bell ringers. These work with older bell ringers who teach them the necessary skills. Thus, this custom is adapted to the needs of the present day, while preserving a series of traditional features. Such transformations are necessary to keep this custom alive and vital.